Greetings, fellow humans. Bad Mark here with another transmission from Metre Keyboards. And today we're taking a look at another keyboard from Boyi, near the Boyi store on Amazon. I have been having a lot of fun with the keyboards that he is picking, and I think at this point having them made. This is the latest one that I've seen. It is the C75 Pro, and it does come in two colorways, so I decided to go ahead and get both of them. One of them is a retro, and one of them, I believe, is a white on purple. So today, I'm going to take a look at these keyboards. We're going to open them up. We're going to see what's included. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and jump into the review. So before we get to the keyboards, let's go ahead and see what's in the box. We have a nice manual that explains the connectivity, the light combinations, the function key combinations, and the scroll knob, as well as, okay, it looks like we can do function and scroll as a combination. We see that we have a list of the features that this keyboard has, which is pretty nice. I mean, volume control, display, looks like we have a battery in series, and we should have the high fine layers. Boyi is kind enough to include some extra switches, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, these are the jadeite green linear switches. They're actually pretty nice for a linear switch. I've had them before in another Boyi keyboard that I reviewed, and I quite like them, and I actually probably, because I will be coming back to these keyboards at one point or another and modding them, but I'll probably switch them out. I want to play around more with the switch. It's an interesting linear. We have a nicely braided USB-A to USB-C cable. We have your standard wire switch and keycap puller. And we also have extra keycaps because we're taking a look at both keyboards. I wanted to show that for the one, the purple colorway, we have some extra. These are double shot keycaps. And for the retro colorway, we have some double shot as well as some die sub because we have some color choices. So we're definitely loaded up. We've got switches in case anything happens, and we've got keycaps in case we want to change how the keyboard looks. And here we are with the Boyi C75 Pros. These are the two different colorways that they have right now. This is the white and purple, and this is the retro version. As you can see that we have a screen. It does feel like there is a protective plastic layer above it. Not going to remove it right now, but I would suggest that before removing that, find an old screen protector for a phone. I think most of us probably have, you know, an extra film screen protector for a phone we no longer have anymore. I would cut out, based on the dimensions here, which we can measure out here in a minute, a bit of film. Once you take that off, put that film on there, because the screens are usually just a plastic, and it's a soft plastic, and something falling on it or accidentally, you know, tapping it against something could scratch the screen. So if you want to protect the screen, I'd highly recommend putting a cutout of a film screen protector for a cell phone on there. So taking a look at the keyboards, they are, I mean, to me, they're quite sharp. This colorway has become quite popular as of late. I don't know the name of it. I want to call it unicorn, but I know that's not what it's called. I think it's become its own by now. But the teal, the lavender, the white with the lavender legends, the lavender key, you know, the lavender modifiers with the white legends. We've got some nice, clean legends. They're very legible. I wish they would have stuck with either all caps for the modifier keys instead of doing ESC all caps, and the rest of them are just normal standard capitalization. That's not really that. That's more of a nitpick than anything else. On this one, we actually have an X, an escape. I like both of these. I do have a couple of other keyboards in this colorway, but obviously retro is where my heart is at. So taking a look at the back, we do have a switch for Bluetooth and 2.4, and I'm going to assume that being in the middle off is going to be our USB. We have our USB port that goes to the computer, and then we have a port that we could use for our mouse dongle. It's basically a hub. Now, if you are gaming, do know that if you have a device on here it's going to basically split the USB bandwidth between those devices. So if you want to use it for gaming, it's probably best not to have anything plugged into it. But if you're just using your keyboard or just using your computer regularly, I use them all the time. I'll put the mouse dongle because I pretty much always use Logitech mice, and they have the nano receiver. I'll pop it in that and the keyboards, and it makes for a much better connection because it's so much closer. So we have the nice textured knob. It does have very slight tactile clicks at each of the movements, which is really nice. I don't like free spinning wheels. Like it literally feels as does my mouse wheel does. There's I think they're called steps. I forget. But this is actually, it's a keycap set that I've seen before. It's the retro with color. It's the IBM keycap color, the beige and the gray, or the grage. I think I've seen it written. While I think the legends on the standard alpha keys are quite clean and quite nice, I'm of the opinion that the legends on the modifiers just don't seem to match. They almost, because they have more of a roundness to it. I don't know my font terminology as well as I should, but it definitely is using, I can say it is confident that it's using a different font for the modifier keys. But we do have some extra keys in here, but we can go ahead and replace most of them. Now we also have the keys so that we can do the navigation column, and we actually do have an escape key as well, and it does match with full caps like it does over there, but I'm going to go ahead and keep that one there. And we can see that we have, it looks like goes home, delete, page up, page down. See how big of a difference just including the keycaps makes? Because like I said, that's my OCD. I like the color, but the OCD of the font kind of bothered me. But now, hey, I get the best of both worlds. I still got some color, I still got some pop. I got, I know that's the escape key. This is I basically set it up this way in a lot of different ones, unless I've got an F13 key. So that navigation column, I pretty much know how it's going to work. Especially since, X, delete, and this, up and down, although I'd probably put the plus there. Anyway, it has a decent keycap set with it. I like the fact that it has the ability, and heck, we can even, I know this is the enter key, but go ahead and add the enter key there. And we have that. So I gotta say, that is really nice. Now looking below, we do have a nice pocket for the 2.4 gigahertz dongle. I do wish that Boyi would include the logo there, but I am going to take a Sharpie and make sure to write it down so that in case it ever falls out, although it has a really nice tight spot, and I don't think it's going to fall out of there very easy. We also have 2 sets of flip out feet, and we have an interesting texture down at the bottom, 75%, C75 Pro. All right, so let's take a look at this one really quick. I do like the blue banding that goes throughout. That adds a nice little touch of flavor. The logo could have been a little bit smaller, but when we come back to it, we'll see what we can do about that. Like I said, this keycap colorway has become quite popular as of late because I've seen many keyboards, and I actually have probably a dozen keyboards that came loaded with, if not this exact colorway, a very similar colorway, especially having this what I'll call a cyan and probably a lavender color. But we have a very chunky, I'm big on big bezels because it does kind of remind me of retro, so I like this. I know some people may not like that retro, but it actually gives you some more space to grab it, and just gives you I don't know, in my opinion, gives me more of a solid feel. Let's go ahead and plug one of these in and see what the screen and the RGB looks like. Oh. We have light setting, screen brightness. Screen is at full brightness. We have language. We have OS, Windows or Mac. And we have the time. Obviously, the time is not correct as of yet. It seems to just jump to this one. But we have September 10th. Oh, it's a day ahead. It's 24 hours ahead, actually. Almost exactly. So one thing I have noticed with almost any one of these keyboards that have time, there is a bit of a drift with time, roughly 1 minute or so, half a minute to 1 minute per week. It's not, major issue. I'm just curious, are they not using quartz crystals to take time? I don't know. Quartz crystal, in my opinion, is just the best way to keep time. 32,768. I'm itching to dig into the software to see what we got, but let's see about everything else for right now. All right, let's see these keycaps. These do appear to be double shot. Yeah, I can see the two different body parts. And if we take out a set of calipers, let's see what kind of thickness we've got here. So we have body thickness of 1.4 millimeters, which is excellent in my opinion. Anything above 1.2, well, 1.0 is like the bare minimum. 1.2 starts to sound good, but above that, you're really getting into some good territory. Now, let's check out the stabilizers that we've got. I don't think I've seen plate-mounted stabilizers in blue and white yet, so that's new to me. Wow, these are, it's almost like they're bonded to the plate. There is absolutely no wiggle. I'm literally just moving the housing of it, but it's not moving from the plate. It is well attached. So let's go ahead and pop out what I think is the green jadeite. There's some nice tolerances. It slipped right out. Yeah, it's a nice linear. I'd guess about 3.6 millimeters of travel. So it's a long pull. It has a nice glassy bottom out. It's not too loud, but it can definitely be heard. Now, if we look onto the PCB, oh, okay, so it looks like we do have the IXPE layer, but we do not have a PET layer. So the hi-fi layers are both the PET layer above the PCB, which is the clear plastic, and then the IXPE layer above that. Don't get me wrong, IXPE on its own does make a difference, but that PET layer really adds that extra amount of crispiness, if that makes sense, and makes it sound so much better. But let's go ahead and take a look at these stabilizers real quick. Like I said, they are well mounted on here. These were meant for this plate. All right, so checking on lubrication, I don't see, oh no, there is the tiniest amount of lubrication on the elbows, thank goodness. And we also see a very light application of a clear grease on the inside wire and the inside stem of the stabilizer, which is perfect, not too much. And it does look like we have a clear PC plate that is gasket mounted. And it does not appear like we have any alternate layouts or the ability to put in plate or PCB mounted screw-in stabilizers. But thankfully, honestly, on this keyboard, I would say that it's just not a necessity with how well the tolerances on these plate mounted stabilizers are. I mean, they're not going anywhere. So we obviously have a 3 and 5 pin hot swap compatible PCB, and we do have north facing LEDs. So for those of you that like shine through on the top, you would be able to get that with shine through keycaps. It is also worth mentioning that these appear to be an OEM profile, but no ticking on the stabilizers. Let's give this one a shot, make sure those keys are well pressed in. No ticking. It's pretty good performance from an out of the box plate mounted stabilizer, but they have. Everything has been getting better as of late, and I'm really appreciating it, as I believe a lot of newcomers into the hobby are appreciating it as well. I'm just checking out the RGB on here. Obviously it's going to sleep because I haven't connected it to anything, and we see the time is one day in the future, so this keyboard is from the future. All right, so let's I gotta say, I'm usually all retro, but I'm liking this one a lot as well. Like, it's funny because I was like, oh, I'm sure this one's gonna be my favorite out of the two, but I'm like, I like this one. And like I said, we do actually have some alternate keycaps for here as well. So if we wanted to match and get rid of the cyan colors, we could go straight white and lavender, lavender white. Just the specs. Today we are taking a look at the Boyi C75 Pro, a 3-mode, 75% keyboard with a customizable TFT screen as well as a knob. It has Bluetooth 5, 2.4, and USB connectivity with a USB pass-through port when in USB mode. It has a gasket-mounted clear PC plate and a north-facing 3 and 5-pin hot swap compatible PCB with an IXPE layer above it. It does come with full palm Boyi jadeite green liner switches, which also includes 4 extra switches in the box, as well as double-shot PBT OEM keycaps that also include extra keys for customization. It has a battery capacity of 4,000 milliamp hours and comes weighing in at 899 grams and does not include a physical OS switch. The chin of this keyboard sits at 22 millimeters above the typing surface, while the back sits at 28.5 millimeters, providing for a default typing angle of 5 degrees. Flipping out the first set of fold-down feet will take the back height to 33 millimeters and change your angle of typing to 7 degrees. Flipping out the final set of fold-down feet will raise the back up to 39 millimeters and change your angle of typing to 9 degrees. This keyboard MSRP is $459.99 on Boyi's store. Links below.